Well, we know more this morning about the Trudeau government's relationship with We Charity after hearing from founders Craig and Mark Kielburger. During a 4-hour testimony, the brothers were grilled by MPs about various aspects of their charity, including the controversial payments made to the Trudeau family.
Yes, she spoke on the We Day stage, but she also provided time to come to the receptions, to have the opportunity to meet with individuals, to sign the books, to do all these additional events. And it was a very significant act.
Well, they also repeatedly denied the charity was chosen to administer a student grant program because of political connections. The Globe and Mail's Laura Stone joins us this morning. Laura, remember back to yesterday when I asked you how long this testimony would be, and we thought maybe 90 minutes long? 4 hours is a long time. And as we pointed out, much of the brothers' testimony focused on the claim that the charity, and they kept driving this home, was chosen to administer the student grant service program. They didn't go after it. And they also wanted to make it clear that they did not financially benefit from the organization. Here's a line from that if anyone missed it. We Charity would not have received any financial gain from the CSSG program, and it is incorrect to say otherwise. What more do we know this morning after that yesterday?
Well, Anne-Marie, it was a very heated and fiery and lengthy committee meeting yesterday, 4 hours with the Kielburger brothers, getting grilled by opposition MPs and asked questions by the Liberal MPs. Look, I think we learned quite a bit about the Kielburger brothers themselves, how they perceive their charity and their place in the world, essentially, and what their plan was for this now canceled grant program. I think what was really interesting and what set the stage for their testimony was actually the testimony from the former board chair, Michelle Douglas, who came up before the Kielburger brothers, who talked about why she resigned from the charity, saying there was a lack of financial transparency. She didn't know why all these hundreds of people were getting laid off, and she was looking for more information from the Kielburger brothers. They asked her to resign, and she did. So coming into their testimony, we learned about maybe some of the lack of transparency that was happening at the charity. Of course, they denied this, said that they weren't having financial troubles. But I think that it's sort of in the eye of the beholder now of whether they believe, which side that they believe here. Although the Kielburger brothers say they weren't getting a financial benefit to run this program, they were able to rehire hundreds of people and to keep their charity going. So is it about enrichment, or is it about simply keeping the charity alive? So I think that led to a lot of questions after the testimony yesterday.
Yeah. A couple other interesting bits of information is the fact that the payments changed to members of the Trudeau family after Justin Trudeau became Prime Minister, as well as the discrepancy in the version of events around Bill Morneau. Bill Morneau saying he forgot to pay for travel expenses, writes a $41,000 check, and the brothers characterizing this as a gift. So again, some discrepancy there that hopefully, we'll be able to find out more about. What were you going to say, Laura?
No, that you bring up a great point, that we learned that that the Trudeau family was only paid after Mr. Trudeau became Prime Minister. And the Kielburgers fought back against this, saying that, Sophie Trudeau's her own person. Margaret Trudeau is a well-known mental health advocate, but we didn't know about these extra events that Margaret Trudeau is being paid for because, again, back to Michelle Douglas's testimony, she said she didn't know that any speakers were paid for the We Day events. And the brother said, well, maybe they weren't paid for the events themselves, but it's for all these extra receptions and things. So that was certainly hammered by members of the opposition, such as NDP MP Charlie Angus, who said that they were essentially paying for the Trudeau name. As for the Morneau situation, I mean, members of Parliament and ministers, there are rules against accepting free travel. So I'm not sure that they did him any favors by releasing that statement about his $40,000 trip that he later paid for. I think at the end of the day, though, it's the Prime Minister and Bill Morneau, the Finance Minister, who have already admitted that they made a mistake, that they should have recused themselves because of their relationship with this charity. So they're the ones who are under investigation now. And the We Charity testimony kind of set the stage for perhaps what that finding will be from the ethics commissioner.
I want to talk about Thursday in just a second, but briefly, Laura, there was this really telling moment when Craig Kielburger said he wished he'd never picked up the phone. What has all of this done to We Charity?
Well, that's right. I mean, these guys started the charity as teenagers, and they're only in their 30s now. So it's 25 years of work, and they said in 25 days, essentially, it's kind of all come unraveled. And we've seen the sponsors of this group dropping like flies. So they said also at one point that they wish there was a competitive process so they could have proven that they were the right charity for the job. It does, they're trying to garner sympathy that all their hard work has essentially been erased as a result of this controversy. I think we'll probably hear more about that from Prime Minister Trudeau on Thursday. But I think critics will certainly still point to the fact that there was an existing relationship between the Trudeaus and Mr. Morneau that led to this charity being chosen for this very lucrative contract.
Laura, really quickly, what are you expecting Thursday?
Another grilling, Anne-Marie, and we know that the opposition MPs want the Prime Minister to testify for longer than an hour. They want to see him for 3 hours. But I think we're really going they're going to try to drill down on why this charity was chosen. Maybe the Kielburgers haven't had dinner with the Prime Minister and his wife, but what is the relationship there? We know that Sophie Trudeau speaks on a podcast, for instance. Margaret Trudeau has obviously spoken at many events. So it's going to be, I think, a lot about, whether they communicated with the Prime Minister's office leading into this contract, and just exactly how long have they known each other, and why does it seem like Prime Minister Trudeau preferences this charity above others?
Laura Stone, always good to talk to you. Thanks for coming in this morning.
Thanks, Anne-Marie.
Thanks for watching. If you like this, be sure to subscribe here.
And you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.